Hello fellow YouTubers, and welcome to this video. This is my ideal WrestleMania 31 card. It's probably says it. I'm still not good at that. That's something I need to work on, but I'll also explain why, maybe some story and such. Also, let me say that this is basically judging off of where they are now. So it's not like I'm going to randomly have, oh, my two favorite wrestlers are going to main event WrestleMania because, I want them to main event WrestleMania. It's not going to be like that. Based in realism, so let's jump in. The show will start with a legend panel featuring legends such as Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, Stone Cold Steve Austin. They have a bunch of legends under contract. I don't really care which ones are there. But you need some attitude era, guys. You need some people. Undertaker. Just bear with me. The idea behind this being discuss the main events. You also want to pump the crowd up for the show itself. Legends always do that. It would end with them talking about Sting being in WWE for the first time ever. Which is a perfect segue because the first match would be Seth Rollins versus Sting. Seth Rollins is basically out to avenge the Authority being put out of power at Survivor Series. I know that technically they're back in power, but I feel like somebody still would want to avenge that. I don't know, I wrote this before they were put back in power, so it's kind of... It still works, though. Anyway, he's going to make a name for himself by taking out Sting in his first and only WWE match. Granted, that'll be the promos building up to it. This will be Sting's only match, once in a lifetime. But, Then I'd book Seth Rollins to win. It really could go either way, though. But there's a reason I want Seth Rollins to win. So we'll get back to that later. Next, we'd have the Money in the Bank ladder match. Yes, I'd bring it back to WrestleMania, and it would feature quite a few mid-card guys who just haven't gotten back up to that level or haven't ever had an opportunity to get to that level, if that makes sense. It would include Jack Swagger, The Miz, Chris Jericho, Bo Dallas, Kofi Kingston, and Bad News Barrett. I don't like when they have 8 guys. It's too much. Jazz hands, ooh. But I mean, but those would be my 6 guys. You'd throw 2 other guys in if the WWE needs it. But this match would obviously be a spot fest. You have, Kofi Kingston, who's obviously going to be hitting lots of spots. You have Bo Dallas, who I feel like could be put in a bunch of spots. Chris Jericho, I think he would do it. But part of the idea behind it would be the past winners. Jack Swagger, The Miz, Chris Jericho on TV came up with the idea, and he's never won one. So those 3 have legitimate ties to the match already. And they're just these guys who need that main event push. I mean, I'm not saying Jack Swagger deserves it. The Miz, he's been world champion before, never gotten back up to that level, and I'm not complaining. But that is the idea behind the match. Anyway, I'd put the Money in the Bank on a face Barrett. And I know that seems a little unlikely now, being as he's IC champion. But I do think Ziggler is going to win it back. But then they'd have to face turn Barrett. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. He can be a tweener if that eliminates some of the problem. Anyway, this also sets him up for if he wants to cash in later in the night. And I would tease that. Tease that Barrett is going to cash in. So basically, you have a heel with Money in the Bank, you have a face with Money in the Bank. And they both could cash in at the same time. Theoretically, you could have, I don't know, the main event face win and have, Seth Rollins cash in, but then you could have Wade Barrett cash in on him. Then I'd follow that up with a video package featuring great moments from WrestleMania history. It's just to clean the ring up from the Money in the Bank. I figured there are probably broken ladders, broken tables, the usual Money in the Bank stuff, and you want a reason to clean that up. especially being as the next match would probably be pretty clean. But I don't know. That match would be Damien Sandow versus Cody Rhodes. I know you're all thinking, why not have Goldust and Cody Rhodes? And I just don't see it as a WrestleMania match. And I know I say that saying, oh, well, here, have two mid-card guys fight instead of, this mid-card legend versus his brother. But it just... I picture Goldust, Cody Rhodes as a Fastlane match, which will be replacing Elimination Chamber, apparently. So it'll be the February pay-per-view match, which it would belong there. It would probably be a good match on that card. Now, Cody would win. We'd also have Miz versus Mizdow. They're both going to break up, so why not just throw it on the same card, the same crappy card it's going to be, and just make it happen? If Cody wins, Goldust retires. Cody wins, so now he's retired his brother, okay? That gives him something. Something is better than nothing. Anyway, Mizdow would beat Miz because he pretty much has to, due to the fact, I don't know, I don't see Miz winning that feud. Sandow would be more the face, and Cody Rhodes would be more of the heel, if that makes sense. But I want them both to be faces. A lot of the matches on the card are like that. Anyway, they've both proven they can get over as faces. They both get handed crap gimmicks all the time, and these two in particular make them work. Being a stunt double shouldn't have been, a huge break for Sandow. Yet it was. Being Stardust or dashing Cody Rhodes shouldn't have been a break for Cody Rhodes, and yet it was. So this match would be the physical embodiment of that. That's how I would portray it. Give them a match early on in the card, after a huge match, Money in the Bank, and then before the Andre the Giant Battle Royale, to where they can kind of just do their thing. And I don't want to say they could steal the show, because I don't think they could, but they could make a very interesting match early on in the card. Much more interesting than Cody Rhodes, Goldust, or Mizdow. And I say that as a Miz fan and a Cody Rhodes fan. This would work better, I think. Then I'd have them recap the Hall of Fame ceremony. You're just basically wasting time. The people I want going in this year, just the three big ones, I guess. Goldust, because Goldust's going to retire at Fastlane. Shane McMahon, don't know why he's not in yet, but we want somebody who has power in the WWE to be put in, but we don't want Vince. Stephanie can't go in, she's still involved. Linda, does she deserve to be in it? Shane is that perfect level for what I want. And then The Undertaker. And those would be my big three for going in the Hall of Fame this year. And again, we'd have the Andre the Giant Battle Royale featuring just about any wrestler that isn't already in a match. You saw last year, you know what the idea is. It's just to put a bunch of guys into a match. And I'd book Cesaro to win it. And I know that seems kind of stupid because he won it last year. But the idea is have a face Cesaro win it. And start rectifying the mess you made last year. Plus, it makes the first Andre the Giant Battle Royale winner the second, too. He's also a two-time winner, which is basically just another way of saying what I've already said. But that means every time somebody wins it before, they have to be stacked against Cesaro. Even if he doesn't become, world champion this year, next year at WrestleMania, he'll still be relevant. Insanely relevant, regardless of who wins. And he'll be relevant the next year, at least. And that's saying they have repeat winners again. This gives Cesaro something a lot better than being a jobber. And hopefully they make the Andre the Giant, Battle Royale winner actually get something. I know he got the statue, but it was broken. I don't know, maybe they could give him a Intercontinental title match, something. Then I'd put the only Divas match on the card, and quite frankly, the only Divas match that would matter on this card. I know some people are pushing for an AJ Lee, Stephanie McMahon match. It's not a bad idea, and I agree, the promos would probably be incredible. But I'd rather squeeze as many active Divas into one match, because the second one would most likely get booed. Usually does. Can't have two Diva storylines going at once. You can only do one, and I say that as somebody who thinks the Divas do need more time, but you just can't do it. So, here's the match. We'd have AJ Lee, Nikki Bella, who's still champion, Paige, and Natalya. Pretty self-explanatory. They've all been booked pretty strong throughout the year, and it would just basically, I guess, be who's the best diva of the 2014 to 2015 year. And the story is basically they're the four best divas. I mean, I know Nikki isn't, but they could just, this is going to sound crazy, but they could just book her as the legend, the veteran. She's been in the company for, 8 years now? 8, 9 years? She has more in-ring experience in WWE than any of those other divas. Natalya's getting close. But that would be the storyline I would run with it, basically. And this would be a match. I don't really care how it goes. I feel like most people don't really care how divas matches go. I could see AJ winning it, but she doesn't need the win. And I could see Natalya winning it, and she does sort of need the win. But regardless, she still has Tyson Kidd, so she's still getting TV time. I would give it to Paige, because Paige is the only one who really, desperately needs the win. Plus, Paige is my favorite of the four. Aside from AJ, but moving on. Speaking of Nikki Bella, I'd have her boyfriend John Cena take on Daniel Bryan. Bear with me on the story here. Cena can claim he passed Bryan the torch back at SummerSlam 2013. Remember, that was when John Cena was injured. He chose Daniel Bryan as an opponent, and Daniel Bryan beat him when, Mark Henry and Ryback couldn't. Supposed to be a big deal, and then Orton cashes in, and then Orton's champion. But, I mean, that's aside from the point. You'd have a very, heel idea behind John Cena, but they'd both be faces. So, basically, he would claim that Daniel Bryan has failed. Every time he's been given the ball, he's failed. You can argue that's fact. He has the WWE title for, 2 months, and then gets injured, and I'm not blaming him by any means, but the storyline could run with that, and basically, you wouldn't have it so heel, but you basically have John Cena saying, I don't drop the ball that bad. I wrestled injured. I've won the title, 15 times. All this crap. And then Daniel Bryan will try the exact same thing, you couldn't save the WWE from the beast, Brock Lesnar. The WWE Universe have had to deal with him for, so many months now, because you failed 3 times. And it'd be completely legit. Granted, I don't know how good of a feud that would be. I don't know how many people would be behind it. But Daniel Bryan is really over. John Cena is always over. And this is just a match to get them on the card, pretty much. But you could also have Daniel Bryan blaming Nikki Bella for turning Brie against the fans. Again, he blames John Cena because, John Cena's been very heelish this year. And it would completely work. Oh, John Cena, if you would have stood up for your girlfriend, then my girlfriend wouldn't have gotten, fired and, quit and had to have been reinstated, and that whole crappy storyline. And again, I don't know how much people would enjoy that, but it is an option. Puts both of them on the card, being as I don't picture either of them being in the main event. Anyway, I want the audience to be 50-50 split. However they make that happen, I don't care. But I just want the audience to not root for one more than the other. It could also be one of the internet's beloved passing of the torch matches. Give the win to Bryan. Cena doesn't need this win at all. Like, really. But I could see the WWE giving it to Cena after losing to Lesnar so much. The next match is basically a throw together to put a lot of talent on the card. Bray Wyatt, Luke Harper, and Dean Ambrose versus Ryback and the Usos. The storyline seems a little fuzzy right now, I'm sure, but again, stick with me for this. At the Royal Rumble, I picture Dean Ambrose turning his back on the WWE fans. He's going to side with Bray Wyatt because Bray Wyatt's going to point out Dean Ambrose just can't get it done alone. He lost every important match to Seth Rollins. He lost every important match to Bray Wyatt. He can't do it alone. And I want, it gets in his head because Dean Ambrose is the lunatic and more easily susceptible, I guess. I don't know. Just make Bray Wyatt do Bray Wyatt things. Convert Dean Ambrose to his side. It doesn't have to be for a while, but I picture lasting from at least the Royal Rumble until maybe Extreme Rules. It gives plenty of time for them both to have something. And I picture them chasing the tag team titles, which is why they're in a match opposite the Usos. It gives basically the tag team champions a match on the card. Every champion will be on the card. In a match where their title is sort of involved. How hard is it? But anyway, I picture Luke Harper joining back with Bray and Dean because he hasn't had much better luck. He's won the IC title, but then he lost it and then lost the rematch and is pretty much just there now. Bray Wyatt, on the other hand, is winning a feud. And he'll almost win the Royal Rumble. New Wyatt family. Anyway, I picture the new Wyatt family winning, and eventually they would win the gold from the Usos if they don't already have them. There's really no contenders for the tag team titles right now, being as the Dust Brothers are hinting a breakup, and Miz and Mizdow are hinting a breakup. The Ascension just debuted. A New Day isn't really over, and they're pretty new anyway. So there's nobody really ready for the tag titles. Why not give it to them? They're a heel team. That way you can build up New Day to take the titles from them. And then the New Day can lose it to Ascension at some point. And you can continue this. Every tag team on the roster has all the tag team titles at some point. Anyway, the next match would be Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. Yeah, you heard that right. Both titles on the line, the Intercontinental and the United States. The storyline would basically be the Authority is screwing Dolph over, pitting him against someone who hasn't lost a match yet. Much better than Cena beating Rusev, Dolph beating Rusev. Dolph can still get something out of it. He can unify the two mid-card belts. Again, this is something that would keep his name relevant for years to come. Just like Cesaro winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royale again. Every time that title is on the line and Dolph Ziggler's in the room, Dolph Ziggler was the first, Intercontinental United States champion of all time. Plus, you don't need the two mid-card belts in this situation. Anyway, Dolph wins, unifies the belts. The WWE would work that out later. Does it become a new world title? I don't know. Should it just become like the Intercontinental title? I don't know. That's for them to decide. Then I'd have a video package about the Authority. Make fans remember everything they've done. Start from the very beginning. Orton screwing Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan won a match earlier on in the night. The fans will hopefully pretty much be on his side at this point, and then you're basically just going to crap upon it. Daniel Bryan getting screwed, Dolph Ziggler getting screwed, John Cena getting screwed, Ryback getting screwed, Dean Ambrose getting screwed, Roman Reigns getting screwed. Everybody has gotten screwed by the Authority. Basically, Triple H will come out and sell it to the WWE Universe because he's Triple H and that's what he does. that he's basically going to say, this is my company now, and regardless of the next match, blah, 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 it's still my company. Which leads into the next match, which would be Roman Reigns and The Rock taking on Triple H, Kane, and The Big Show. This match would be my must-happen match. Yes, it's a handicap match. That is the idea. The Authority is stacking the odds on Roman Reigns and The Rock once again. Have the board of directors or Vince message Triple H and basically make this match do or die for the Authority. Legit this time, not, oh, Roman Reigns can bring you back when he wants. No, it's now or never. So if the Authority loses, they lose power. Put this warning out a month ahead of time and really give the Authority, this way they're not focusing on other people. They're focusing on Roman Reigns. And because we know he's not ready for the title now, this will give him plenty of time to get ready. And again, like I've said with Dolph Ziggler and Cesaro, taking the Authority out of power. Remember how big that was for Dolph Ziggler for that month? Every night they mentioned it. That would be good for Roman Reigns. Add on to that, it's also good because The Rock is a good speaker, Triple H is a good speaker, Kane is for the most part a good speaker. Big Show can convey emotion very well. So working with these guys, it's bound to help his mic skills. Not to mention he's working with his, what are they, cousins? The Rock and Roman Reigns. They're related somehow. But yeah, I'd say make the match originally a 6-man tag. Roman Reigns can pick his team. Dare I say, make him pick The Undertaker. Have The Undertaker retire, but then Roman Reigns will come out and be like, well, I want you on my team because you don't lose at WrestleMania. You only lost to Undertaker because blah. You only lost to Brock Lesnar because blah, blah, blah. Basically, have the Authority take out The Undertaker because I don't care. The Undertaker will get cheered this year. It's The Undertaker. Taking him out will be extra heel heat on them, which will be extra face heat on face cheered. It'll be extra positive attention on Roman Reigns when he wins. You can have Reigns, spear Big Show to knock him out. The Rock, rock bottom, Triple H. Just make it work. Anyway, I think that's all the points I made. Yeah. Anyway, Trips will be out of power and thus off TV. Kane will retire because there's nothing left for him if the Authority's not there. And hopefully the Big Show does too. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't even care about these two anymore. They're just a big joke. Anyway, moving on to the main event. You're probably asking who Brock will be defending his world title against. I hope you are, at least. I mean, we have Cena in a match, Bryan, Ziggler, Ambrose, Reigns, Rock. They're all in matches. They're all of the people are debating who Brock is going to fight. But I'd have Orton come back and win the Rumble. And I know people aren't too keen on the idea, but I think the casual fans are right now. Before he was taken out, he was getting wildly over, and he won't be back until the week before the Rumble. So just save his return for a surprise at the Royal Rumble itself. Keep his momentum going. All you gotta do is keep him not booed. That's all you gotta do. Not to mention, the IWC already wanted to see this match. Back when maybe it was October, when they were discussing future opponents for Brock Lesnar after he retained against John Cena, Orton's name came up a lot because, in seriousness, due to the way the WWE booked Brock Lesnar, only a few people were serious contenders. Big Show because of his size. John Cena because he's a 15-time world champion. People debated if Daniel Bryan could be a contender. But Orton was always agreed upon. I mean, he's a 12-time champion? Not to mention, Orton would be insanely over, and if done correctly, hopefully it would undo some of the damage of Brock Lesnar getting cheered because he destroyed John Cena. Now, the match itself, just make it close. I don't want it to be obvious. I want the fans to think every step of the way, oh, Lesnar's going to win, or Orton's going to win. And I want Orton to lose. The fans won't know how to react. Most of the fans already know that Lesnar isn't coming back. But having Lesnar retain not only makes Lesnar look better, but it creates this real big sense of confusion, like, what? And then after a few seconds, they'll probably start booing Lesnar. Because once again, Lesnar has ruined WrestleMania. Last year, he beat The Undertaker, ended his streak, which is why you want The Undertaker reference in the previous match. That way people could remember that, build the emotion up. And basically, Orton's just going to sit there and be like, what could I have done? He RKO's Lesnar, he punts him in the skull, does Orton things. The fans are like, yay, at least we got to see Lesnar taken down a few notches. And then Orton's going to stand over, Lesnar, do his, oh, thing. And then Seth Rollins is going to bash him in the back of the head with the briefcase. Orton's going to go down, maybe roll out of the ring, just to be out of there. Rollins going to tell the referee, I'm cashing Money in the Bank in. And the fans are probably going to start cheering. That's why you want Orton as over face-wise as possible. Because you're having a heel cash in on a heel. He goes, successfully cashes in. All he really has to do is curb stomp Lesnar at that point. It's done. The show ends with Seth Rollins kind of boring music playing, him holding up the world title like, yeah, I did it. And that sets up post-WrestleMania really well because he can feud with Randy Orton, which he should do at Extreme Rules, because they still haven't feuded, even though they built that up like 2 months ago. He can feud with Dean Ambrose, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, who has every right to a match. You got Reigns at some point. Heck, you can have Rollins come out every week and talk about how he beat Sting and Brock Lesnar on the same night. Remember when Chris Jericho used to do that? Oh, I'm the only man who's beaten Stone Cold and The Rock in the same night. You can have Seth Rollins do that. Very heel tactic. And then he can even go as far as to say, since I beat them, neither of them have shown their faces. And you bring Sting back for SummerSlam. Hopefully he would lose. There are possibilities here. Wade Barrett would hold Money in the Bank. Being a face, he could feud with Seth Rollins a little bit, build it up. But I'm done. I've rambled for 30 freaking minutes. That is my dream WrestleMania 31 card, judging by where the WWE is on January 9th. If you've enjoyed the video, you got your like button down there, right? And you can share the video. I think it's below it or some crap. Feel free to comment your dream WrestleMania card or thoughts on mine. If you've stuck around for the 30 minutes, my goodness, props to you. But yeah, peace out, M Skillets.